Hey there, thanks for stopping by today. I hope you're doing well. Today's topic is not really one that I like to really contemplate and talk about. I mean, I have talked about it before with some friends and family, but anyway, I don't know, it's just not something that I really want to address, but I'm in a moment in time in my life where I kind of have to address it. So we do get asked frequently, like if we are done having kids or if we are considering having more kids. And before I even had kids, I've always been one to want, like my number in my head was always 3. And as you guys know, or if you don't know, I have 2 boys right now. One is just about to turn 3 and my other is about 1.5 years. And we actually, for our second child, we were hoping that we were gonna have a girl because we're like, okay, one of each, that's good. You know, at least we have one of each. And it just so happens that my sister-in-law just broke the all boys streak and they had a little girl and she's the sweetest thing ever. So, so needless to say, of course, like there's just, it's been in my mind to really want to potentially have more kids and to try for a girl. And there's also, when I'm thinking about this, there's kind of like 2 sides to the coin. Like, I guess I'm super blessed like that, and I'm lucky I was able to even have 2 children, because I know a lot of families struggle with having just 1 child. So when I think about that, I'm like, I'm super lucky, I'm blessed, I'm thankful. But then there's the other side of the coin that is, and this might just be more like a maternal thing, that is just like I have this urge or desire to want to have another baby. So as I mentioned, 3 was always my number. I'm like, 3 is it, that's good. I grew up, with 2 siblings. So that was just always something that was my goal. And unfortunately, my husband, and I didn't know this because I've always said I wanted 3 and he knew that, but I learned after just having 2 that he's set with 2 and he's okay with just having 2 kids. So I should say, I'm pretty sure my husband does not watch my videos. So I just feel like I'm okay and able to be like open about this with you guys here. And if he does watch this, I mean, whatever, so what, who cares? The other thing is like, just being able to like talk about this openly is just, it's like therapy. I know I've said this before in another one of my videos, but just being able to share and like put this out there and talk, like journaling, it's like therapy to me. So thanks for being there again. Thanks for listening to my story and what I got to say today. So as you can imagine, there is like a point of division between me and my husband. Like I'm at a point where, I would love to try to have a 3rd baby, but he is totally like, no, we're done with 2. There's some conflict here, right? So like I said, I'm at a point, I feel like I have like baby fever. I know that like, I never really thought I'd ever get to that point in life. I just, like I said, my sister-in-law just had a baby. There's other YouTubers that I watch that are pregnant. One in particular is having triplets. So it's just something that like, I don't know, I have like baby fever. Now I have this like really like strong itch to have a baby, to hold a newborn baby of my own again. And it's funny because like, of course, if you have children of your own, like all the craziness, all the difficulties that come with raising a baby, a newborn, sleepless nights, exhaustion all the time, issues, pain with breastfeeding, just, all the worries and fears that come with having a baby, despite all of that. And I'm sure this is some sort of like evolutionary, like innate, genetic, coded thing inside of us to keep people procreating, right? To keep growing the world's population. But it's interesting because you forget about all that stuff. You forget about the pain of childbirth. You forget about all that, and that desire, that deep yearning to have children just kind of surfaces. The other thing is that my 2 kids are becoming more independent. They're easy, to entertain on their own. Like they'll go play together. They'll, set them up with some crayons or whatever. They'll color for a little while. So I don't have you know, they're not constantly like by my side wanting to be held all the time like younger children are. So again, so that's just kind of like, well, I needed I need a newborn. I need a new baby to hold. You know, I don't feel that sense of like completeness that I did before. Like when I brought home my youngest child, my second, you know, there was like, I was sitting on the couch nursing him. I had Desmond, my oldest, next to me, and I'm like, this is great. Like, I feel good. I feel complete. I feel like, you know, if these are my only 2 children, then that's okay. But it's been, you know, like a year and a half later, and now I'm just like, no, I don't feel so complete as, you know, like I did before. Like, I feel like a little bit of emptiness. Like, I just feel like there's a hole and like it needs to be filled. And I feel like it needs to be a baby. And it's interesting too, because like my oldest child, Desmond, he's so sweet. Like he'll like oftentimes will say like every once in a while, like, I need a sister. And I actually caught it on camera in one of my last videos. I have him saying that, like, I need a sister. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, I'm like, I know, like, that would be great. And, you know, we gotta get your daddy to, like, to do that, like, to want that too. So obviously this is something that's like, just, it's hard for me to think about. It's just like, I almost want to like, it be out of sight, out of mind. Like, I don't want to think about it, but I have to. So as I mentioned before, like, I'm totally fine with 2 boys, but like, if we did have a third, like, I totally would be fine if it was a boy. Like, it doesn't have to be a girl. Like, yeah, it would be wonderful to have a girl, but I would be totally fine with 3 amigos, you know, 3 little boys running around. I think that would be really cool too. I wanted to share, like, because I've talked about this with my husband a little bit, like, it's one of those things, like, we'll just talk about it for like 5 minutes and then just like walk away from it and change the topic or whatever. So it's not something we really have sat down and like had really good intentional deep discussion on it, because I just don't want to fight about it. I don't. But I want to share like some of his views, because his views are valid and I respect him, and you know, we can be on a different page and everything. And I wanted to kind of think about what he has to say and consider that too. So one of the things that he's mentioned, and bless his heart, like, he's a dude, right? Like, we obviously, male and female, like, men and women typically have different traits and views on things and everything, with different emotions and all of that. So I'm not trying, like, this is not me like tearing my husband apart at all. I'm just, you know, like I said, wanting to share his thoughts and views. So even though there might be some negativity sounding to what his views are, or it maybe like I think it's like a negative view or whatever, like I said, I respect his opinions and what his thoughts are, and hopefully you guys will too. This is one example that might kind of sound bad, but he doesn't think it's worth the risk of having another boy, basically. Like, he doesn't think that it's worth it to try just because of the risk of having another boy, because for him, like, he really wanted to have a girl too. And again, I'm like, a child is a child, you know, like, I don't care either way, but I have to respect what his thoughts are and try to understand where he's coming from. And I don't really know, I mean, again, he doesn't have an opportunity to explain himself, so I'm trying to like think of this as not something that's like a negative, but I'm trying to understand like what he means by it. So yeah, so I kind of get what he's saying, like, especially like if you are set on having a girl, and like if you know, to have that disappointment and all of that, if there was a boy, like, which is valid, again, it's a valid feeling, there's no shame there, you know. I think those feelings can happen and can occur, and so I totally understand that. So the big thing is the financial side of things. So my husband like is really set on retiring really young, and he wants us to retire young together, so that way we can do what we want in life. So of course, you know, we're trying to save up money, we're trying to like refinance our home, and just being more mindful about like the things that we're buying and stuff. And having children, as you know, is very, very expensive. I mean, daycare is, I can't even believe it's the amount of money we spend on it. It's like it's a mortgage, right? That's, and it's actually a mortgage for a very, very, very nice house, actually. So adding in another child, just that alone will increase the daycare cost for us. And down the road, when our kids go to school, like that'll change, but it's very expensive, just daycare alone. And then of course diapers and all the other things that, are necessary to raise a baby, they're expensive. So just kind of going off of that, like my husband's goal for us is just to be financially independent. Like we don't want to have any bills, well, not bills, but we don't want debt basically. So that's one of his goals for us. And this is kind of a funny one. He doesn't want a minivan, and yeah, so if we had 3 kids, we would have to invest in a larger vehicle, and I'm sure it would be a minivan or something, because those car seats are so freaking big. And to be honest, this car that I have is way too small for two car seats. So we would have to get a minivan, and I would totally be fine with it. I know they can be expensive as well, but yeah, he doesn't want to have to upsize our vehicles, spend more money on a vehicle. He wants to keep just with the 2 cars. And actually I was thinking about that. I'm like, wouldn't we need 2, like depending, I guess we would need 2 larger vehicles, I would think, because we'd have to redo everything, like, because I drop off in the morning at daycare and he picks up. So I don't know how that would work. Anyway, it's neither here nor there at this point. But so anyway, yeah, he does not want a minivan. He doesn't want a larger vehicle. So this one's really, I totally get this too. Like he really, one of his points was like, well, we should be focusing on, the 2 kids that we have, focusing on giving them the best life they can have and trying to help them in their future so they don't have, we can set aside money for them for their college tuition or whatever. So his, and that's a valid point. I really respect that because it's true. I mean, we can give our 2 kids the best life possible and also set aside money for them so they don't have to worry down the road, because as you probably know, I mean, college tuition is insanely expensive. And having that debt linger with you after college is just, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare to have that worry of that bill to take care of. You're just starting out your life, right? So I respect that, giving the 2 kids that we have the best life possible, meeting their needs, giving them all the attention that they need and that they deserve. Because again, adding another child would take a little bit away from that. So those are some of his views. And, of course, like I agree with all of that. I just, I don't know. It doesn't matter. I feel like, I don't know. And again, this is like, I feel like this is the motherly mindset. It's just like, we will survive. Like, we'll be okay. Like, money, we don't need money. We can, there's ways around that. We can downsize our home. We can, I don't know. I'm thinking all these things, like, I don't want to let those things get in the way of, like, growing our family and, like, having happiness and taking a chance and having a 3rd child. I want to go through it all again. Like, one more time, I want to go through, like, childbirth and, like, nurse a baby again. I'm sorry. I'm an ugly crier. As you can tell, I make weird noises. But, like, I want to go through all that again, like, just one more time. Like, I want to hold my own newborn, like, again, another newborn again. And it's just, like, it's so hard to have these thoughts. And I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know if I should, like, put the pressure on him, like get upset. Like, I know that's not the right way to go, but, like, I don't know what to do. Like, if I don't know. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, what do people do in this situation? Like, if one person wants 3 and one just wants to stick with 2 or whatever the number, what do you do? Like, do you force it? I mean, you can't force it, right? I don't know. Like, I just don't know what to do about it. Like, or is it, do I just give up? Do I give up and settle? Do I just, suck it up and move on with life and just be happy with, my 2 boys, which I am. I'm like 100, of course, like I'm so happy with that. But like, do I just give up? Like, and like I said, settle? Do I just like deal with these emotions and like, or just throw them away, try to, tamper them down and just move on with life? Like, I don't know, you guys, I'm at a tough spot with this, and there's other things that are like going through my head. Like, one thing is like, I'm getting old. I hate saying that. Like, I'm young and like I'm healthy and stuff, but like I'm getting old. Like, I'm gonna be 35 this year. And, like that's borderline. They say like if you get pregnant around that time, like what is the word? I don't remember what the word, but it's like I don't know, like an elderly pregnancy or something. That's not what it is. That sounds stupid, but it's basically, you're pinpointed as a woman that's, too, almost borderline too old to have kids, and like there's risks that could be involved with that, with having kids too old. Although I do know that like it is the trend. Like, there are women having babies older nowadays. Like, I waited until I was into my 30s. And I know it can be done, and I've had 2 healthy babies already, despite having 2 miscarriages previously, back to back. I've had 2 healthy kids, healthy babies, healthy pregnancies. So anyway, but that thought's in my head. I'm like, it's now or never. It's now or never. And like, I don't know. Like, I feel like if I don't get this moving now, if we don't try to have another kid now, that's the end of it. Like, I have like a year maybe to try to get pregnant again, or else I'm just gonna be too freaking old. Like, I just feel like it's my last chance. Like, I also just, I don't want regret, like I don't want to look back like years from now and be like, why the heck didn't we have a 3rd child? Like, we should have just done it. Like, we should have just jumped in and done it. Like, why? Like, I don't want to look back and like have that regret, like I don't know. And like, I just feel like if I don't know, like, again, looking around at the people around me, like, my sister-in-law, and like she's a lot younger than me, and like, I'm sure they're gonna have more kids and stuff, and, like I said, other people that I'm watching on YouTube, like, they're having kids, and I feel like if I don't try to have another kid, like, I'm a failure. And I know that's like a weird thing to think. Like, I should not think that way. And again, like, I feel for the people out there that can't have kids, and, that are struggling with that. And I feel for them. And if that's you, I feel for you. And I'm so sorry that you're going through that. And I'm praying for you. Like, that's a hard thing to go through, for sure. So I'm like on this other side of it where I'm lucky to have 2 children, but at the same time, like, if I don't try for a 3rd, if we don't have 3, I'm a failure, because I'm not meeting that goal in my head that I was going to have 3 kids in my life. And, that's just kind of weighing on me too. With all of this to say, like, I just, like, what comes into my head is like maybe if I can get a new job where I can earn a lot more money than I am now. And I'm thankful to have a job. I'm thankful for everything that I have. But like, that's in my head. Like, if I try to get a new job, like, here, and tell my husband, like, look, I'm making all this money, like, we can be okay. We can have a 3rd baby. If I can find a way to earn enough money to the point where it's, having a 3rd child isn't a burden on our financial goals, and, the desire to wanting to retire early and all of that. Like, if we can still meet those other financial goals in life by, supplementing my income some way, like, to be able to afford a 3rd child, then, if we can do that, if I can get to that point and, tell my husband that, like, look, that, like, we can do this, like, to reassure him, to make him feel a little bit more stable and open to the idea, like, that's, that would be awesome. Like, and I'm thinking about that, and I'm like, I only have a year in my head, like, to get to that point, to have that safety net, the security net for him to want to say, yeah, like, let's go for it. Let's have a 3rd. So I don't know, guys. That's it. I don't think there's much more to say about it. Hopefully you guys understand, like, I guess my husband's side of it, and then like also kind of like my side of it. It's just where I'm at, and it's a hard place to be. It really does suck, and yeah, the more I think about it, the more I just want to sit and cry about it. So anyway, if you guys have any tips or suggestions on like how I can, I guess both sides, like how I don't know, I don't want to be the one to like convince him or to like change his mind or force him to change his mind. I don't want to come at that angle. Like I want both of us to be in this together, both of us to be, you know, on the same journey, the same mindset, to decide this together. So I don't know, like I guess suggestions on that, but also like suggestions for me to like, you know, cope with it, I guess. Cope with the idea that I'm not going to have a third potentially, or that we're not going to try for a third, and that we're just going to be done with the 2 children that we have. Alrighty, you guys, I'll leave it at that today. Thanks if you watched this entire video. I appreciate you. If you like the video, please hit the like button. That's just like one great way for this video to get out there for more people to see, and just it kind of helps me, you know, build and grow what I have here on YouTube. And if you're new, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you as part of my family here on YouTube. I'm so excited to just be able to grow this channel and this journey and be on it together with you guys. But thanks again for coming by. I appreciate you. Thanks for taking the time. Thanks for understanding and just for your love and support. I really, really appreciate you. But yeah, I hope you guys take care. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you again very, very soon in the next video. All right, bye.